I grew up in Vietnam, was born in North Vietnam, a town named Nam Dinh, and grew up there until age 6 when North Vietnam became communist and it was divided. Our family had to become refugees to South Vietnam because had they remained in North Vietnam, being wealthy landowners, they would have been executed by the communists. So it was mandatory that they left everything they owned and came south as refugees in South Vietnam. That was at the beginning of the Vietnam War, and I experienced some fear when there were coups d'etats that came to South Vietnam, and there were soldiers stationed at our home with all kinds of military equipment and guns, and we could hear the bombings and we could hear the sounds of war. I came to the United States because my father worked in the Department of Education. So he had an opportunity to visit America and visit colleges here. And he came back and asked me to apply, or encouraged me to apply to a college. And I was accepted with a scholarship for tuition to come to study at University of Nebraska. Because it was right at the height of the Vietnam War, I would have been, I would be asked to speak about the war because people were curious about Vietnam. So I made sure I brought slides to show pictures of my country, and I also brought a lot of artifacts and things from my country to have a show and tell. And I was asked to speak at many meetings, church meetings, civic groups, schools, classes. So I was speaking constantly about Vietnam. I had major homesickness. Having grown up in a family of 9 children with grandparents, lots of extended family, it was very lonely. Even in the dorm with my friends, the culture shock was enormous. I went to class, came home and cried most of the time because I missed my family so much. I had reel-to-reel tape that I taped and then snail mail home, and another 3 weeks later I heard from the family, and when I hear their voices I'd be crying. Having had studied English in Vietnam, and I actually even taught English in Vietnam, I had a hard time adjusting to my professors, speaking too quickly, taking notes and studying, so that was another hurdle. Having people being ignorant about Vietnam and asking questions that can be a little intimidating, or looking down on our people because of the way it's portrayed on media, that the war in Vietnam, that the Vietnamese and the Viet Cong are, life is dispensable. That was hard for me. And it was at the height of the controversy of our involvement in Vietnam. So that was a struggle. The conflict was difficult. And I had spoken about how I appreciated the Americans' involvement in Vietnam. But as I grow older, my views change. I was in my graduate school when I met my husband. We were married in '73, and my family came in '75 when Vietnam fell. At the time when the country fell, my father's life was in danger, because had he not left, he would have been executed, if not imprisoned for a long period of time, or severely persecuted because of his high-ranking position in the education department. The family, meaning my parents and the rest of my siblings, were able to leave before the airport was bombed there, and no more planes could take off. Currently, I had just finished serving 23 years with Minneapolis Public Schools as a school counselor. And now I'm looking forward to retirement, but doing a lot of volunteer work. I do like to travel, and I do like to speak in front of groups and telling stories. and just contributing to lives of newcomers that come to this country and help them with their adjustment.